A slow, deliberate knock against the glass. Too deliberate, too real. I swallowed hard. My apartment was on the 4th floor. There was no balcony, no fire escape, no way anyone could be standing outside my window. But the tapping continued. I forced myself to look. Through the faint moonlight, I saw it. A handprint on the glass, smudged, fresh, like someone had just pressed their fingers against it. I stumbled backward, my mind screaming at me to run. But where? The door? The hallway? The whole building was dark. My phone vibrated. A message, one line, one nightmare. You're even more beautiful when you're afraid. Before we dive into the full story, let us know in the comments where you're watching this from. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories that challenge and inspire. I always loved Valentine's Day. Not for the romance. I had no boyfriend, nor was I looking for one. But as an OnlyFans creator, Valentine's meant big tips and lavish gifts from admirers. This year was no different. By noon, my apartment was filled with roses, chocolates, and expensive perfumes from fans. But one package stood out. A small box, wrapped in plain brown paper, tied with a single black ribbon. No name, no note. I hesitated before opening it, an eerie unease crawling up my spine. Inside was a velvet jewelry box. For a brief moment, I felt relieved. A bracelet? A necklace? But when I flipped it open, my breath hitched. Inside the box was a human heart. Real. Bloody. Severed. I stumbled back, dropping the box. A metallic scent filled the air as bile rose in my throat. A note slipped out. Now you truly belong to me. I grabbed my phone, my hands shaking as I dialed 911. The police arrived quickly. They asked questions. Any stalkers? Any threats? Of course. In this line of work, there were always admirers who blurred the lines. The detectives took the heart for analysis, but their tone made it clear. They didn't expect to find who sent it. I tried to shake it off. Maybe this was the end of it. It wasn't. The next morning, a notification buzzed on my phone. Did you like my gift, love? I froze. The account was new. No profile picture. No history. I clicked block and tried to push it out of my mind. But more messages came. From different accounts. I gave you my heart, and you won't even say thank you. Maybe I should send something more personal. Would you like to see where the rest of him is? I stopped reading. My stomach twisted. Who was he talking about? That night, I double-checked my locks, drew the curtains, and tried to breathe. Then, I saw it. Among the bouquets on my windowsill, one was different. A single black rose, hanging from its stem, a Polaroid. With trembling hands, I turned it over. It was a photo of me, taken from outside my window, and in the corner, a shadowy figure watching. My breath came in shallow gasps. I dialed 911 again. Someone is watching me, I whispered. Then, the power cut out. Darkness swallowed the room. The hum of the fridge, gone. The streetlights flickered and died. Even the blinking router light, off. My pulse pounded. This wasn't an accident. Then, I heard it. Tap, tap, tap. Not on my door, on my window. I swallowed hard. I was on the 4th floor. No fire escape. No way anyone could be out there. But the tapping continued. I forced myself to look. Through the moonlight, I saw it. A handprint on the glass. Smudged. Fresh. I stumbled back. Run! I had to run. My phone buzzed again. You're even more beautiful when you're afraid. My body locked up. He was here, not outside, not watching, inside. I turned toward the door, but it was too late. A hand clamped over my mouth. Darkness. When I woke up, my wrists tied, my ankles bound. I struggled, but tape sealed my mouth shut. I blinked against the dim light. I wasn't in my apartment anymore. A small windowless room, cracked walls, a single hanging light above. And across from me, Mia. She was gagged, tied to a chair, her face streaked with tears. A shadow moved in the doorway. And then, he walked in, tall, masked, dressed in black, the gift giver, the one who sent the black rose, the one who sent the human heart. You should have been more grateful, love, he murmured. He turned to Mia, his gloved fingers tightening into a fist. And you. You took what wasn't yours? I swallowed hard. What was he talking about? Then it hit me. Mia was also an OnlyFans creator. Her content was growing fast. She was gaining fans. Was that it? Did he think she had stolen attention from me? I pulled at my restraints, my breath coming in sharp, shallow gasps. But he wasn't finished. Only one of you can stay. He reached into his pocket. A knife, sharp, gleaming under the light. He tossed it onto the floor between us. Fight for it! Mia whimpered, her body shaking violently. I froze. He wanted us to kill each other. Or... He pulled out something else, a coin. He held it between his fingers, his voice eerily calm. Heads. Mia dies. Tails. You do. The room spun. He flipped the coin into the air. It turned once, twice. And then... gunshots. The door exploded open. Blinding lights. Shadows moving, yelling. Hands grabbed me, yanking me free. I gasped, my vision swimming. Mia. She was there. Sobbing. Safe. And him? The masked man lay on the floor, blood pooling beneath him. Dead. It was over. Finally. Over. The next morning, my phone rang. Detective Harris. We have an ID on the heart, he said, his voice unreadable. I held my breath. It belonged to Claire Monroe. Something inside me twisted. That name again. I had spent the last 24 hours unraveling the mystery of Claire Monroe, the girl who looked exactly like me, the girl I had never met, but whose face stared back at me in old photos, blurry news clippings, and abandoned social media accounts, the girl who was missing. And now, she was dead. I don't understand, I whispered. Who is she? There was a pause on the other end of the line. You really don't know, do you? Harris sighed. Claire Monroe was your twin sister. The words sliced through me like a blade. Twin. Sister. I had no siblings. I had grown up alone. My parents never mentioned another child. But now there was a girl who shared my DNA, my face, my very existence. And she had been murdered. My legs felt weak. I gripped the counter for support. She was taken when you were barely a year old, Harris continued. Your parents, well, your birth parents, never told you. They moved, changed their names, tried to forget. My vision blurred. My entire life had been a lie. Who killed her? I forced out. Who sent me her heart? There was a long, heavy silence. Then Harris spoke. His name was Daniel Ward. A chill ran down my spine. The name meant nothing to me. But when I heard what came next, I wished I had never asked. A lover's obsession. He was in love with her, Harris said. At least, that's what he claimed. A sickening weight settled in my chest. He was obsessed with her, Harris continued. Followed her, watched her, swore she was the only woman in the world who mattered. The room felt smaller, the air suffocating. He lost her 2 years ago. When she disappeared, something inside him broke. I swallowed hard. But here's the part that matters, the part that ties it all together. I didn't want to know, but I had to. Harris sighed. When Claire vanished, Daniel spiraled. He searched for her everywhere. And then, he found you. My entire body went cold. Me. He found me. He thought you were her, Harris said. At first, he must have been confused. But then he realized, no, you weren't Claire. I gripped my stomach, nausea churning inside me. So he did what any obsessed lover would do. He tried to bring her back. I thought back to the messages, the gifts, the heart. He wasn't threatening me. He was giving me back what he thought I had lost. Now, I want to hear from you. Imagine looking in the mirror and realizing the face staring back at you was never yours to begin with. What would you do if someone mistook you for someone else, or someone who was already dead? And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next chilling tale. Stay safe, stay aware, and remember, someone's always watching.